Hey Victoria, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? Yeah, that's about the only phrase you know in Spanish, don't you American? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Schnitzel. Also, why is your last name Schnitzel? And why did your parents immigrate to the US after the Second World War? I have a lot of questions here, but before we answer any of these, we're gonna play as Argentina. Nope. We're playing as Spain. A little bit of habit clicking on that South American nation after losing a Germany game. I don't know why, but today, boys, we'll be restoring the Spanish Empire by massively, quickly modernizing Spain and making use of a massive amount of workforce which is distributed around Central and South America, all of them Hispanophones, and as such, they're gonna be easy to employ in our factories. Cheap labor for the labor machine. Yep, and yes, we are led by a 5-year-old. So this campaign might be a little bit messed up from the beginning. Now, the Spanish initial situation is a little bit of a tough one. It basically starts off in 1836, right after Spain lost most of its colonies in South America, courtesy of Napoleon, of course. And our starting budget, it is not amazing. However, we're gonna make it work, not to fear. We're gonna change a few things around here. We do start with quite a few units, so we can use these soldiers to invade South America and take back what is ours. We're gonna research stock exchange as our first technology for the extra market access price impact. Then we're gonna go for lathe and atmospheric engine, because like I said earlier, we want to properly industrialize as soon as possible. Our market does have some massive shortages, including shortages of clothes, furniture, wood, and grain, so we're gonna need to focus on that. We have at the start 4 construction sectors, and we are on the wooden building production method. That's because we don't really have much iron mines. We only have 2 iron mines in Navarra and another one in Castile. Our government is made up of the intelligentsia and the Catholic Church, which is a very, very weird combination. I know, but we'll make it work, don't worry. We can bring in the rural folk into the government as well, which is going to make them a little bit happier, and that's going to give us access to more legislation. Now, the Spaniards do have some interesting starting legislation. We've got legacy slavery, so we will have to ban slavery as soon as we can. We only have 42,000 slaves, however, so it's not necessarily a massive priority. This is to simulate the slaves that the Spaniards still had in the colonies, namely in Puerto Rico, to be more precise. We do have some good laws, though, like interventionalism, tenant farmers, which is better than serfdom, obviously, but we do need a voting system as soon as we can get, and we need to change our taxation laws, too. We could go for per capita taxation, which would help us out now, or we could wait and go for proportional taxation after we research the technology, which is actually going to come in even more handy, but it does mean our economy is going to be taking a bit of a step back for a while until we do get proportional taxation. And that in turn means that we can put these people to good use and make them work for us, of course, which is what this playthrough is all about. Work, right? One major issue we have as of the last update is that we start with a very upset pro-slavery movement, so we will have to dedicate some of our authority points to suppressing this particular movement. We could also technically go for banning of slavery from day one, but that will lead to a revolt most likely, and the chances of us passing this are extremely RNG, and I'm talking insanely RNG. So I'd rather go for racial segregation first, and then we're gonna do legacy slavery passing afterward. One more thing to note, guys, is I'm gonna turn this into a 3-part series where we cover the early, mid, and late part of the campaign. So when we get 3,400 likes on this particular video, I'm gonna release the second part, and then 3,400 more, we release the last part. I, in essence, want to take it all the way to 1936 as Spain. So basically, early on, we're going to focus on industrializing the nation, conquering South America for those pops that we need and for the extra market resources. Plus, we're going to be forming our own power block, which is going to be a trade league. And by adding all of South America to our power block, we gain more mandate faster. Of course, I'm going to name this classic Spanish name Imperio Romano, which means Spanish Empire. That's what this means. Forming a power block will lower the relations with the other great powers, but do we give a schnitzel? No, we don't. Nobody cares, because check it out, boys. We got a new kid in the block, and his name is ships. Totally not gonna form Roman Empire in the second part of this campaign. I'm not gonna do that, guys. Totally not a surprise thing that we're gonna do by the end of the campaign. No, clearly. Also, I do have a bit of a personal request, guys. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 230,000 subs by the May 20th, which is my wife's birthday. She challenged me. She said, it's not possible for you to get that many subs by May 20th. And I said, okay, we shall see, woman. Think about it. Just think about it. And one thing I want to do is delete some of my cavalry units. I have way too many cavalry units. I do not need that many. And I'm going to make one main strong army, which is going to have 50% infantry, 50% artillery. I like to customize my armies to give them a nice color coding and set it up by state so I know where exactly that particular unit is based in, or better yet, where the pops is coming from for that particular unit. There you go. This is a proper Spanish name, totally not foreshadowing nothing. So I've disbanded every single one of my cavalry units because they're useless. We only kept the artillery and the line infantry. Our main army, which is the 1st Roman Legion, is going to have 29 line and 5 cannons, and the secondary expeditionary force, which is what we're going to use to navally invade South America with, is going to have 5 line infantry and 4 cannon artillery. Now we're going to increase the size of our expeditionary force once we get more ships. Right now we have 3 man of wars and 6 frigates. We're going to get a lot more frigates as we progress. We do need a decent general, and I'm going to go for the tactful Baltazar del Milagro Quesadilla. We need to make sure we have declared interest in all of South America. So we're going to cancel the interest in Scandinavia, get one in Gran Colombia, and we're going to cancel the one in Italy, and we're going to get one in Central America. Same goes for this. Cancel Lusitania and get Brazil, or actually we're going to go for South Africa for strategic South African Roman restoration reasons. Okay, don't ask too many questions. We do have some good states when it comes to resources. Valencia has coal mines, iron mines, lead mines. Navarra similarly has a lot of coal mines and iron mines. So we're gonna try and focus our industry primarily in these main states in Spain, with Valencia being the one that we're gonna focus most in, especially after we start industrializing. This is where we're gonna try and basically play toll, quote unquote. We have a bit of a journey to go before that happens, so bear with me, boys. Make sure we change to cargo ports for our port production method, and we're gonna get some construction sectors in Valencia. I'd say slowly build this up. I'm gonna go with 3 for now. Actually, I'm gonna go 5 for now, and then after we build more as needed. Also, let's change to the fishing trawlers production method for our fishing wharfs, and that will have changed the demand in the market after we unpause. I'm gonna be using the extra influence points that I have to improve relations with my neighbors and great powers, so that I make sure that nobody has the idea of wiping me out from the face of the map before I even do anything. In order to do that, we need to have more influence points, so we're going to need to get more rivalries. I'm going to rival people that are insignificant, like Tuscany, Sardinia, Piedmont, Papal States, all these bad boys here that nobody gives a single schnitzel about. Denmark, Sweden too, of course. Problem with forming the power block really early on is that we start with minus relations with all the great powers now, so they might be more inclined to joining in diplomatic plays against us, which is why we need to do diplomatic plays in areas that they do not have an interest in. And for the start of the campaign, that's going to be South America. Argentina is basically just free for the taking here. Seeing as this is going to be my main state for construction, I'm going to do road maintenance. Whenever I build in other provinces, I will of course change the road maintenance to that other province to make sure that we get the construction efficiency bonus, and we will be going for very low wages with our government wages for now, as well as we're gonna go for level 3 law enforcement since we have the extra bureaucracy. Plus go over to our political lens, and we're gonna be incorporating the areas that we have not yet incorporated, namely Puerto Rico, South Cameroon, and the Canary Islands. We're also gonna be canceling a few of the unproductive trade routes, and we're gonna get some new trade route. I am actually aiming towards getting a trade agreement with the British Empire. That way we would have a massive amount of trade we can do between the two nations. And that's also why I'm improving relations with them. I'm not rivaling them, etc, etc. Our main shortage of wood we can get from the Chileans, from the French, but wood is really not going to be much of an issue after we've established ourselves in the colonies, of course. So the first nation I'm going to be attacking is Uruguay, and I'm actually going to be fully annexing Uruguay as I need an actual foothold in South America from where I can do land invasions into Argentina and so on. Reason I'm also attacking Uruguay so early before Argentina is because after the Brazilians finished their civil war, they will most 100% will get involved in the war against Uruguay, and I'd rather avoid having to fight the entirety of Brazil just for little old Uruguay when I can just get it done for free. To help out with our naval invasion, we can go on very high military wages, which should give us a little bit more morale recovery. And pray G, this dude here doesn't absolutely, oh my god, he is not bad for home defense, but hopefully he's gonna be half as good for not home defense. Technically this is our home Uruguay. Okay, let's put it out there. We also need to get more food, so we're going to be importing from Qing, Russia, and the Dutch for now. All right, we seem to be making some progress here, and voila, we have captured Uruguay, the very first part of the New World that has been reconquered. Now, incorporating this only takes 5 years, which is amazing, and it's going to help us out a lot actually in our particular campaign. Second war, very obviously so, is going to be against Argentina. War reparations, make that a primary too. And let's bring our main Roman army to the front here. We're actually going to bring both of our armies because we might have 2 or 3 fronts happening after the war starts. Let's see. So also make sure we keep on importing whatever we need for our market. For now, we're basically relying on foreign imports a lot, but that's going to change as we progress, of course. We want to be self-reliant. We are going for a autarky style situation here. And yes, that's right, I do not know what autarky means, but I'm using the word because I saw it in Hoi 4. Okay, also take note, we do have some colonies at the start of the campaign. We have the Philippines still, and we have Cuba, and we're going to be improving relations with both of them. Reality is that these are actually not bad colonies. In fact, the Cuba state itself is one of the best states out there. It has a bit of everything, but more importantly, it has banana plantations. No, I'm kidding, that's not why. It's because of the coffee, okay, and the sugar and tobacco. It's basically a prime exotic good state that we can use for our nation, and it has a lot of cheap labor, as I like to call the Cubans. Also, I just realized the pro-slavery movement has completely disappeared now, so we can invite Matthew de Ladron now, which is going to support the peasants movement. What does that mean? It means that this particular agitator is going to help this particular movement grow, and this is a land reformer movement, which means they endorse homesteading, and homesteading, you guessed it, means that 50% of all of our ranches and agriculture buildings will be owned by the peasants themselves, better yet farmers. We will overall increase our standard of living. These people will get more money that they can use to buy goods that we can provide for them, so just our economy snowballs like crazy as consequence. And also, the Argentine Confederation just backed down. That's actually pretty good. Let's improve with them. So, this is our first reconquered area of South America. We're not stopping here. We're going for Chile. We're going for everyone. Remember that early on in the campaign, it's very, very easy to do this. If you wait for just 2-3 years, it's going to be significantly more difficult because everyone's going to be getting declared interest in South America, and they're just going to make it a living hell for you to reestablish yourself as the owner of these areas. And we do need to get more ships too, actually. So we're gonna have to queue up some more frigates. Let's say a good 3 more frigates for now. Actually, I'm gonna do 4 more frigates, and we can actually increase the amount of construction sectors we've got to, let's say, another 3, 4, 5 construction sectors should be fine. Before we continue with our invasion in South America, the British have canceled their proclaimed guarantee on Transvaal and on Orange, so that is basically free money for us to go for. That's a lot of gold mines we can get from these 2 provinces that will fuel our further expansion into South America. So we're gonna be attacking Lorenzo Marquez, so we afterwards have access to the other areas here. We want to get this as soon as we can before any of the other great powers decide they want to take a little bit of Africa. And yes, I know this is like the biggest cheese imaginable. It is what it is. It is basically the meta, guys. If you don't do this, you're basically just playing the game bad. So it is the direction that Paradox wants us to go in order to snowball. If they didn't want it to be like that, they would make this a little bit more complicated to conquer than just, you know, making it basically free real estate. Ludi, but you always do this. Yeah, because it's literally the best way to play the freaking game. Ah! And look, we got a freaking setback because of you. That's all your fault. I'm blaming you for this. That's right. All of these natives here dying, it's all your fault. You're the only one to be blamed. You happy now? Are you happy? All right, sir. Now let's position our main army here so we can start with the invasion. Actually, no, we already have our troops here, so we might as well. Very obviously so, go for the full annexation. Never make these areas subjects because you want to directly own the gold fields and afterwards gold mines in these lands. I'm gonna have to stay on level 2 law enforcement because I do need the extra bureaucracy for the areas I'm conquering right now directly. The only drawback to this particular tactic is that it does set us back a little bit with the conquest of South America, but it is worth it in the long run. We're also building a port and we're bringing it up at the top of the queue in Lorenzo Marquez because we need it for access into these areas. Otherwise, there's zero market access to all the lands we conquered, which basically beats the purpose of having conquered these lands, of course. Pretty much going to queue up everything around the actual Spanish area. The goal for this campaign is to bring as much population into Spain itself and just mega industrialize the Spanish peninsula or Iberian Peninsula. Now, the next war we're doing is going to be against Bolivia. I'm doing this ASAP before I even attack Orange. We only took Transvaal since getting a puppet in Bolivia is easier early on, gets a lot more difficult after they form Peru-Bolivia and they get massive as consequence. So now we can also ask the Brazilians to join in our side by giving them the humiliation war goal against the Bolivians, and we also asked the Argentinians in by giving them the province of Jujuy, unifying the entirety of Jujuy under the Argentinian puppet rather than Bolivian one. They are fearful, so there is a pretty high chance that they're actually going to back up without fighting us once our troops reach the border with them. But if they do decide to fight us, you know what? Kudos, bro. You're trying to take on the literal planet. They are trying to take on the literal planet. It's Bolivia against half the literal world. Okay, you know what, Bolivia? I respect that. I really do respect that. There you go. We're making gains very, very fast. How am I keep getting bad results for this Dude, I swear, I'm not going to pass this. We already have 2 setbacks. I might as well just cancel this legislation. It's crazy, the RNG sometimes. My previous Spanish run, I had amazing RNG with the laws. Okay, they have started to lose war support now, which means we're about to enforce our demands any day now. We also can change our production methods for the textile mills, the furniture manufactories, and the glassworks. We don't need the glassworks though, because we haven't yet changed the market squares, but we're going to do that right now, which in turn means we're going to use more glass so we can change to leaded glass, making our glassworks a lot more productive as consequence. We also want to go for gas street lights. We would require a little bit more coal as consequence, so we can start by building our first coal mine in the province of Valencia. That's right. We also need more dye plantations. We're going to import from Qing and from the British for now, but we can actually get our own dye plantations. We have the option of building these bad boys in the Philippines. So we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 dye plantations in Luzon for now. Should be enough. There you go. We got our 5th or 6th subject. I forgot completely, to be honest. So Peru unified as consequence of us vassalizing Bolivia, which is now known as Charcas, which I have no idea why it's known as that, but it is what it is. A lot of things have changed with the more recent patches, I noticed, which is why I'm redoing this particular Spanish run, actually. And we need to improve relations with them, so we need more influence points. That means we need to get more rivals. And until we finish building our lead mine, we can import some lead from the British as well. Now, I also want to start building some universities. I'm going to do 1 university in every single state I own in Iberia. And then I'm going to queue up a lot more either in Toledo, my capital, or Valencia, depending on which one I feel like is more beneficial. Probably Toledo, though. Let's do Toledo, the industrial/university city, shall we? And yes, you guessed it, we're going to do more construction sectors. We're going to max out Valencia right now. Next up is the invasion of Chile, which is extremely easy since we've got the Argentinians on our side, which in turn means that we have an actual land border with them. But they did get help from Brazil, so we're going to have to actually fight against the Brazilians too. That means I'm going to actually need to conscript some of my units here to be able to hold off the Brazilians. How many do they have right now? They've got 31 battalions with 17. Okay, no problem. We can handle that easily. Now, seeing as they were very insolent, I'm going to be liberating a lot of nations from Brazil, or just Amazonia. Apparently, that's the only one I can. A lot of nations, guys! Yeah, it's literally just one, okay? We're basically making Brazil split in half, with the other half literally just having the 3 weakest states. But still, it counts. It's half, okay? We're going to eventually puppet Amazonia, as we will Brazil at some point. I'm going to use the smaller force to deal with the Chileans, whilst the bigger army is going to be dealing with the Brazilians. And I think I can also use my enlistment effort decree, which in turn means we're going to be able to get significantly more units hired. There you go. 31 conscription from 5. Brother, that is insane. This decree is insanely overpowered. From 5 to 31 battalions. Let that sink in. That is just crazy, man. Now, as this is a bit of a bigger war, we're going to increase our taxation taxation level to high taxes, and we're going to increase again our military wages to very high, so we can actually be able to quickly and swiftly finish the Brazilians off. All right, it does seem like we're absolutely wiping the freaking floor with them. I mean, this is not even any sort of a challenge. Look at this. We're literally wiping the floor with the brother. I'm loving this. And the kind words of the great McDonald's dude, whatever his name was, I'm loving this. We do seem to have a little bit of a situation with the fronts though, so let's make a secondary army. Boom, get a new general for that army and set it up here so we don't actually lose the front behind the main front, because apparently Vicky 3 is all about having a trillion freaking fronts for some reason. Yeah, no, their units are just completely done. Look at that. They've got no manpower left right now, and we're just pushing like crazy. If I knew this, instead of getting for war reparations from Brazil, I should have gone for liberating a second nation, because I think I can split them up in 3 bigger nations. I can afterwards puppet all 3 easier. There we go. We got Chile. Now we've basically got most of South America as consequence. Let's finish this Brazilian war so we can focus on the northern parts of South America next. And we do seem to have insanely big issues with our iron mines, so let's get some more iron mines too. 3 in Navarra, because we do have the market access there. The issue is here we don't have market access. Let's see how we doing now. No, we're good. We're good. We still have +5 infrastructure, so we're gonna need to get railways, guys. We're a little bit far from that, but our universities are queued up, so eventually we're gonna be getting those. Atmospheric engine, I'm actually gonna do water to boiler right afterwards so we can fully industrialize ASAP. And voila, boys, Brazil is split in half, quite literally split in half. Kind of feeling like I could probably get these guys in my trade league without invading them. Question is, should we do that or should we just invade them? They are, after all, an unrecognized power. Also, it is time to get even more construction sectors. Our industry is literally booming. We went back to medium taxation and we're doing super okay still. We can get and afford more construction sectors. Oh, let's go, baby. Gold discovered in Transvaal. Don't mind if I do, sir. How many we got? 12 freaking gold fields. That is actually insane. That is genuinely... Dude, we're getting about 10,000 weekly balance from this once we have enough people employed in these gold fields. The Spanish dream. Yeah, the Spanish dream is to get everybody's gold. We also can evangelize our nations here, but this will either increase or decrease the subjects' liberty desire. So in the case of Argentine Confederation, it will increase. So we don't want to do that. For Charcas, it decreased it. For the Chileans, we'll decrease it also, and so on. It's good to pay close attention to what exactly will happen if you do this particular interaction. Also take note, it does cost 31 influence to maintain this particular interaction, so make sure you have enough influence. We need more rivals. It's all about getting all the rivals, isn't it? Since we do have that little quote-unquote break, we can attack Orange now. Break from attacking South Americans is what I'm trying to say here. There is no real break when you're playing as the Roman Empire. I mean, Spain. We're totally not going to reform the Roman Empire after we get South America and become insanely overpowered from industrializing. We're totally not going to do that, guys. Come on. That's not going to happen. Now, we do have per capita taxation, which means our income skyrocketed. So we went up by 40,000 national revenue, which in turn means we can double down and get even more construction sectors. And we have a ton of support for agrarianism, which means we likely will be able to pass this super fast now. It's actually not bad. I was thinking to do a bit of a roleplay, sort of agrarian industrial society. Does that make sense? It makes in my brain, okay? This is gonna be the first Spanish agrarian industrial mega empire. That's what I'm gonna call this run. Now, both Reichstadt and Transvaal, we're gonna be incorporating. It takes only 5 years to incorporate these areas. By incorporating these states, we're gonna be able to tax them, and we're also gonna have our institutions affect them, which doesn't happen with unincorporated states, so keep that in mind. It's over for everyone, boys. I got my coffee. I'm ready. Let's do this. And we also just got atmospheric engine pumps, so that means we're gonna be building the schnitzel out of our empire, boyos. Also, gold mines are gonna be way better now, that's for sure. That also means we can start changing to the iron frame building production method. I'm not gonna do everything at once, because obviously I don't have enough gold mines for that. And by gold mines, I mean iron mines. I'm very special, I know. But yeah, we're slowly gonna do that. Say Western Andalusia first, Toledo as well, and we can cancel some of the construction queue, cancel this one. We can start queuing up iron mines now like crazy. There you go. This queue looks a little bit better now. I think I'm going to keep my infamy below 50. So after the invasion of Ecuador, we're going to wait a while before we get the New Granada and Venezuela, since we can just use that time to industrialize more and also to not get the debuffs from going above 50 with infamy. Right now, we're only getting plus 0.10 increase for Liberty Desire from being above 25 infamy. If we were to go above 50, it would be a little bit more of an issue. We want to have, obviously, loyal subjects. Come on, Ecuador. You better give up, bruh. You better give up. Yeah, say. Peru, for some reason, despite being the subject of my subject, join in on their side. So what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to have to teach them a lesson here is what I'm going to be doing, boys. And there you have it. We got a foothold. Actually, I might need to send more units just in case. I'm not sure how strong the enemy armies are. 41 advantage. Oh, they are pretty strong, actually. Let's go and defend front until the rest of our units arrive. Maybe we can even get some conscripts. Okay, that was an insanely easy war. Problem now is that we got to do another naval invasion. So that kind of sucks. But on the bright side, we have changed the nation of Ecuador's name to Quito. Quito. Is that because they're quitters, or is it because that's the old name of Ecuador? Maybe it's the old thing. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Totally not baiting for comments right now. Actually, I just realized I'm not really getting anything from this, and if I white piece them, nothing happens. They still become a subject of my subject. So what's the point of me actually doing this war? I'm just gonna white piece. It's one of those idiotic things that makes no sense in this game, unfortunately. Agrarians, you say. That's actually not too bad, guys, because it does mean we get more investment pool from farmers, clergymen, aristocrats, and you guessed it, we have a ton of those people in our country right now. I'm also gonna change Monsieur Arturo to Matthew de Ladron, give him leadership of the rural folk, which in turn means that we have a radical ideology, a party leader. That means he's gonna endorse some type of voting system. He's gonna endorse guaranteed liberties and such, so we can most likely start moving towards an actual democracy now. And because we still want the peasant movement to get support, we're going to invite Juan as our secondary agitator. Also, some of our gold fields have depleted in South Africa, so we're going to be building gold mines in there to make sure we do not miss out on all that gold action. We also can get the Portuguese Lourenço Marques, which is the other half of the Lourenço Marques state, by using the obligation we have with Portugal. Might as well, otherwise it's just going to expire. Instead of having it expire, we literally can get free state here. This is like 200,000 pops or something we gained for nothing in essence. And we're up to condensed engine pumps. Now the great part is also that we have started building in Argentina, which in turn means that they're going to be more and more loyal. Right now they're defiant, they kind of hate us, but once we fill their country up with our buildings, they're going to be economically dependent on us, and their liberty desire is going to go down super fast. We also need to get some steel mills, so we change our production method for the tooling workshop to the steel tools production method, which is way more efficient, and I out queued that because that actually is a bit of a priority. Plus I'm gonna out queue actually a couple more units, let's say 5 artillery and another 5 infantry. Reason I'm doing this is because I need to increase my prestige. Having higher prestige might even make us into a great power, and an easy way to get prestige increase is to just spam units. Units is the god of having prestige. We're also lowering the autonomy in our South American nations now that the truce is over. Chile is officially a puppet, which means we're getting so much more money from them. And yes, I'm using the infamy to do this. I'm not waiting for the freaking liberty desire to go below 25. That takes a million years. Whenever it's below 25, we can just use that to annex the country, if anything, for cheap. You know what? I think I'm just gonna cancel homesteading. It's 2 setbacks already, brother. I know it pisses off people, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, this is by far the worst freaking RNG with legislations I've had in a really long time. We're gonna pass a law that the landowners love, and everybody else apparently loves. This is gonna make them a little bit happier and a little bit less happy once afterwards we're gonna try and ban slavery. Okay, so apparently we have 1,400 shortage of iron when we switched all of our buildings to the iron frame production method. But you know what? I'll keep that. I'm gonna import as much as I can, and I'm just gonna start spamming iron mines all around. It is necessary. necessary, boyos. Sometimes you just gotta make some sacrifices. For us, we're making the ultimate sacrifice of having to import from the French, which, you know, that's, let's just say, special iron. Nobody knows where they put it before we got it. You know what I'm just saying, it's better to melt it first before you touch it. We managed to get our first mandate, and it's a little bit of a weird one because I've got some ideas of what I want to do. I want to go for obviously advanced research, which is pretty meta, let's face it. But at the same time, I would love the food standardization to increase my population a little bit quicker. Eventually, we get from this the minus 10% mortality and the extra standard of living, which is huge, especially for us in our particular type of playthrough. You might see less autonomy. I see Peru becoming my protectorate, and also more money I can use to increase my economic output, which is obviously not going to be put so that eventually we get a big industry to form Rome. That's not gonna happen, guys. Come on. What do you think I am? Some kind of Roma-boo or something? God damn, we rich, boys. Are we rich and out here? You know, if our laws would help with this freaking run, this would be amazing, but by far the worst freaking legislation I've had ever. All right, let's actually start getting some domestic goods going too. We're gonna do one furniture manufacturing in every single one of our Spanish states, and we're gonna do one textile mill in every single one of our Spanish states too. Also, you probably noticed I'm having issues with my market access. I'm gonna subsidize my railways, and I'm going to be building some more railways around here. I want to have at least one railway in all of my states because eventually we're going to be out of market access. Plus, we want to have that transportation because we will be switching over to the railway transport production method. Actually, I think I can do it already here since we already have railways in this particular state, which will be producing us transportation once we subsidize them. Yep, there you go. So that's going to be making transportation tickets, which in turn means we're going to be using iron mines, which translates into more jobs. So I just decided to change railway transport for the other two mines rather than the iron mines because I don't have enough transport tickets, sadly. We also don't have a motor industry. The first one's being built in Valencia as we speak, and we're gonna snowball from that. But until that's being built, we really don't want to waste our money now, do we? Speaking of money, we do need more. So how do we get more? By building more construction sectors. How does that work, Ludi? What the hell are you talking about, bro? Well, you see, more industrial output equals more money, and also we can always just privatize shit because we have not privatized anything. So if we go like this, privatize our industry, we're gonna get insane amounts of money. I'm actually not even gonna do that because if I do it, I'm gonna get too much of a stockpile. I don't want to earn gold here. I want to have a healthy economy. So that means just get more construction sectors for now. Also gonna attempt to go for colonial exploitation just because I want to start colonizing. It's kind of crazy that the Spanish do not have colonialism from day one, since, you know, they still were technically a massive colonial empire. No reason why they shouldn't have it, right? Now we should be able to fix our grain issues since we're about to finish getting the new technology, which means now we can start slowly switching to soil enriched farming. And for that matter, we can also start switching a few more of these production methods here. Slowly but surely, we'll be getting all the grain we need for our people. It does mean we're going to need also to build some fertilizer plants. We have sulfur in Western Andalusia, so we can build click one fertilizer plant here, because fertilizers require sulfur for production, and having sulfur and fertilizer plant in the same state means that we're not affected by the market access price impact from having to import this from other adjacent states. I think one fertilizer plant should be enough, maybe two. We have 175 reduction, so one plant would be able to give us 90, so 180. Okay, it's literally two, so click two of these is 180 fertilizers, which is enough to handle all of our industrial agricultural output, because we are, after all, remember, an industrialized agricultural empire. That's what we were going for, right? I am a tiny bleat curious to see who would come to the aid of Amazon. No one cares about them, and it's only 2.7 to puppet. I'm just gonna puppet them. It really might not be the best of states, but they do have a lot of logging camp possibilities. Look at 32 in this state, 27 in this state, and 22 rubber, 78 iron mines, and another 25 rubber, and 20 in this one. So basically, if I get the Amazonas in my market, I don't need to worry about a late game production method issue, which is not having rubber, because we have half of the freaking world's rubber supply in the Amazon. I swear to God, I actually forgot Paraguay exists. I was supposed to invade them like a freaking million years ago. I just honestly forgot. I'm sorry if there's Paraguayan people watching. I love you. I do apologize. I did not mean to not wipe you off and make you, you know, my subject. I didn't mean to. I swear. Oh, we got colonialism. Let's go, baby. And we also got better production methods for our artillery foundries, which is good because we do need more artillery since we increase the amount of soldiers that we have. We're also lowering the autonomy of Peru, which is our direct subject. They're going to become a puppet. We're also asking them for some money. What's happened secretly without you even realizing is we've reclaimed our Spanish colonial empire and we've started taxing the shit out of them and milking them out of their old resources, all their money, everything. Kind of like what the Spanish did before they lost the empire. Spain's back in town, baby. Yeah, you better back down, Peru, you little schnitzels. And much like we did with our furniture manufacturers and our textile mills, we're getting one food industries in every one of our main states. Right now, there is some demand for it. It's not as big as I would like it to be, but it will eventually grow up. And we can also, before anything else, start getting more steel by changing the production method. There you go. That fixed most of our steel issues. Do need one more steel mill though, so let's change that, get one more, and of course need a ton more iron. Iron is just in massive demand, let's face it. You're always gonna need iron in this game. Iron is like the bread and butter of the entire game, honestly. Iron and coal, obviously. And we can also afford to lower taxes to low taxes, which will mean the people keep more of their money and they can use that bit of extra money they have to buy more groceries, to buy more clothes, furniture, etc. Meaning our buildings get more productive because there's more demand for those goods. And of course, we're going to be going for the Arabian parts. Yemen is free for the taking. Oman can be turned into a subject. Eventually, these areas will have a lot of oil, and we want to get that oil for the mid to late campaign. Because remember, this run, we're going all the way to 1936. Suffice we get the light goal, of course. Okay, I'm noticing something here. Nobody wants Haiti because look at their Diplo here. They're not getting help by anyone, man. How has nobody already puppeted Haiti out of all the nations? I mean, this is basically like a secondary Cuba. And if Venezuela joins on their side, I can bypass the fact that Venezuela is in a defensive alliance with Amazonas, and I can just get rid of Venezuela now instead of having to wait for the truce with the Amazonans so I can make them a puppet, right? So, well, actually, I could do that now. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I'll use the 3 infamy to make them a puppet. I don't want to increase the liberty desire for all my subjects, because remember, if you do this particular interaction, not only does it lower the rank of that particular puppet, but it also increases the liberty desire of everybody else, and we do not want to see that now, do we? Oh my god, seriously, you're not even joining Venezuela? The one time I freaking need you to join on someone's side, you're not joining? And look at that, that's the 3rd setback on banning slavery. It means we basically failed that legislation now. Okay, I guess we can try dedicated police force. This is like genuinely the worst RNG I've had with laws in a super freaking long time. I mean, really long time. We went up to 31 success chance from switching our government to petite bourgeoisie and getting rid of the industrialists temporarily, of course. We will eventually want the industrialists to get more power, but that is it's not time just yet for the industrialists. We have some other laws we need to pass that don't require the industrialists in government just yet, despite them getting quite a bit of clout from the fact that you know, we've just been industrializing like crazy. You also can get a lot more bureaucracy from switching to the standardized filing cabinets, and that means we can also switch to the selfing paper, which in turn means we can do filing cabinets that gives a progress on identification documents, but it also means we're going to have an increase in our paper demand, and it also means we're going to need more sulfur. So let's go ahead and queue up 2 more, alt-click 2 more sulfur mines in Western Andalusia. I think another issue I have right now is that I'm going to need to start prioritizing my pops. I'm going to have to start researching steam donkeys and other production methods that free up most of my population to be used in production rather than transportation and such. Also, I'm going to alt-click a few universities. I think I need 3 more universities. That should be fine. Actually, I'm going to do 5 just so I have 2 universities in most of my northern states here, as I've gotten the other ones in the south too. Screw it, we'll do 6. There you go. Now, as our first company, we could do the Navarra Premium Metals, which is the standard metal company, which is actually pretty good. But we also have the option of going for the Duro y Campaña, which is a unique company that the Spanish have, and it gives arms industries and artillery foundry throughput by 10%, alongside it affecting iron mines, coal mines, and steel mills. So it affects all the type of mines that we need. I'm gonna go for Duro 1, not only because of the flavor, but it actually affects the particular buildings that we really need. And it is based, of course, in Navarra. So we're going to make absolutely insane amounts of money from that company itself. Luckily enough, we were able to pass dedicated police force. So now we can go for protectionism. Why am I doing this? Well, very frankly, because right now, all of our trade centers have shopkeepers employed. If we switch over to protectionism, it's going to be capitalists employed. And we really want the capitalist, as you know, capitalist is synonymous with industry, isn't it? And yes, we can also continue to expand our construction sectors actually now. It's also time to get some greener grass campaign decrees over in our mainlands. Can actually get a little bit more by doing this. Switchio, skibidi, greener grass, and then go back to very low. So we technically did the biggest cheese in the world, isn't it? Actually, let me check my consumption taxes. We've got coffee consumption tax still. I don't really think like that's worth it though. Instead of that, we could do another greener grass campaign, which in turn means more pops coming into our lands, which is a lot more important. And now I'm also going to be turning my attention to some Asian kingdoms for some future rubber opportunities. Oh, actually, wait, we can do this first. Buyashaka, Attackius Maximus, bring our expeditionary force and make them pay for it because they decided not to accept our demands straight. Oh, Venezuela sides with them. That is actually perfect, boys. That is genuinely perfect. That means we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, right? That's the saying, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you mother... sons of bitches! Why you back up, Amazon? You suck! Oh, look at that. Paraguay accepted my demands, not like you Amazonas. They're the good puppet, okay? I like them more anyway. Attempt number 3 for racial segregation. Hey, we also have just become a great power, boys. The 7th great power, apparently. And by GDP, we are also the 7th, actually. Right below the Americans, above the Austrians, though, so we're definitely making our way in the world. How close are we to getting a trade agreement with the English? Minus 32 because of our infamy. Oh, okay, fair enough. I am going to be focusing a little bit on production technologies now, since I really want to start going for steel railway cars, reinforced concrete, dynamite, all the good stuff that will double down on our economic output. And yes, we're definitely increasing our economy significantly. I think it's time I start actually privatizing my buildings and use that extra money to just double down and basically have a lot more construction sectors at the same time. Oh my god! Holy shit! Like within literally a week, we went to 1.9 million. We sold so many buildings. That is crazy. And now it's up to 3.1. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I think it's time I stop privatizing. I'm only gonna do this like a little by little as I need an extra infusion of money. That's it, okay? Also, I actually love the fact that we have silk in Spain itself. So we can make insane amounts of money from just spamming fancy clothes from our textile mills, you know what I mean? That means I'm gonna make East Andalusia and Valencia some of my biggest textile mill states, because that would make it a little bit more efficient, wouldn't it? And if we want to go even higher in rank, we can get some more units, which is going to increase our prestige even more. Let's say get 50 and 50. So we have 100 in our main army here. That does mean we probably need to double down on the amount of artillery foundries that we have, don't we? Let's see how many we have got right now. We got 3 artillery foundries. That is not going to be enough for 50 regiments, is it? Oh man, this is the biggest issue as the Spanish if you're going to be playing toll. But obviously we're not really playing toll here. Even though we're focusing all of our industry in Iberia, we got most of our resources coming from South America, Africa, and Asia right now. But the thing is, if you don't have those lands and you don't play wide technically whilst at the same time being toll, you're going to run out of wood. Like there's overall less lumber yards in Iberia than there freaking are in the Amazons, which is crazy. But it kind of makes sense though. The Amazon is pretty much the lumber basket of the world, isn't it? Okay, things are starting to shape up finally, and our leader just freaking died. That is crazy luck right there. We're gonna set this on defend for a little while so we can get our morale up before we push into the Casimids. The Casimids is a little bit of aggressive expansion, but it's worth it, guys, because check this out. 1 million GDP, 1 million population. It basically is how we're gonna get all of our oil out of the Yemeni state itself. And we also need to make a little bit of a break with our production research, because we need to get skirmishers. Our subjects have skirmishers and we don't, which is just bad, let's face it. Hey, things are starting to shape up, kind of. We should have passed this 20 years ago, but better late than never, right? Holy mother of God. By quite frankly just changing some production methods, we gained 50,000 income from just a couple of clicks, which is crazy. But that also increased our demand for silk, which is not a bad thing, because we do have a lot of silk that we can get in Eastern Andalusia. Let's actually out queue 10 silk plantations news here now. So I guess for Venezuela now, we have to go to war with Brazil, which is joining on their side. It's fine though, because in this war, we're gonna actually split Brazil apart. We're liberating Confederation of the Equator, Minas Gerais, and Bahia, so we can make all of 4 of them separate puppets afterwards when the truce is over. And we might have a bit of a change in our plans here, because we have a lobby opportunity to get a trade agreement with France. I wasn't expecting this to be to happen, but since it did happen, I think I might push towards getting an alliance with the French too, and using that against the English, I guess, so we get back Gibraltar, because we do need to get back Gibraltar, right? Now, since we have this, of course, we're going to be trading everything with the French now, so we're going to make a massive amounts of money from the French market. Brazil out here literally fighting for their lives, guys. But not fighting hard enough, clearly, because now there is no more Brazil. There's the Confederation of Future Spanish States, as I like to call it. And there you have it. We also managed to get food standardization to level 3, increasing our standard of living alongside mortality reduction. I wish there was a way of knowing exactly how many pops actually migrated from the New World to Spain overall throughout the playthrough, right? That would be a nice little feature to add, like at the end of the campaign, to show the amount of pops coming from one spot to another overall. Alright, and now we're basically down to 400,000 revenue on very low taxes with 1 million on high or very high taxes. So we're doing pretty good. It's time to ramp this stuff up though. And before we do that, do make sure to leave that like, because I think this is already like an hour long freaking video. I don't want to make this too long, because then obviously no one's going to watch it. And if you don't leave the like goal, I'm still going to do the second part, but it's just going to take a little bit longer to get it out, because I am currently working on like 3 or 4 other second parts. So it's just like my way of knowing which one you guys prefer overall to be edited next. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.